Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The arguments begin now.
All right, I think we're on the air. Let me see here. One more thing. And looks like we got that. Can you hear me?
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? Okay. Well, we can fix that. How about that? Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see you talking, but I couldn't hear you.
Sorry about that. We forgot to unmute the Zoom thing.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, testicle difficulties. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, those two.
And they're quite a pair, aren't they?
That was good.
Hey,
2 points, Pat.
oh, thanks. I heard a really funny-ass joke a little bit ago. I can't remember what the hell it was. It was about, did you hear that they came up with a, since this is a R-rated show, did you hear that they came up with a new medication for depressed lesbians?
I did not.
It's called tricoxagen.
Okay. You're only going to get a point on that one. It was good, but you're not getting the full 2 points. You only get a point on that one.
Oh, thanks. Anyway, good evening, Dale, and good evening, everybody that's out here listening somewhere in the blue here. Trying to make sure I got everything lined up, which I did that. All right, then I'll do that. We decided to do this show because next weekend is Memorial Day weekend. We're going to do the Sunday night show, but I would rather have Memorial Day off. So that's why Dale and I discussed it and we decided to come on today. There's a couple of things that I've just been laying for you on. And we've actually had one request from a friend of the show that wanted us to discuss. I think the first thing that I want to go into, though, is and I've been chomping at the bit ever since I heard this on the air on one of the news channels, and I decided to check it out. Did you hear about the Qatar? I think that's the name of the country. Them offering Trump a $400 million airplane. How do you think?
Absolutely, I've heard of it. Yes.
What do you think about that?
What do I think? Well, it depends on what direction you want to go here. That's basically a gift to the United States, more or less. So why not?
Don't you think
there have been gifts given to various presidents over the years, all the way back to the beginning. So
the only
what
reservation,
is the difference?
The only reservation that I have there is the fact is you could have, if it was a gift, that's whatever. But on the other side of that coin, if they think that they're going to use that as a bribe, that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
And you can take and before let me finish up here. He says, all right, we'll take that. The American people, but he's not saying it for the American people. He said, I'll use this plane until the Air Force One gets done, and when I do finally get out of office, I'll donate it to the Trump Library. Now, if during his presidency sometimes somebody from Qatar contacts him and says, we gave you a $400 million airplane, what are you going to do for us? Will you do this for us? I don't know that I like the idea of that. You understand where I'm coming from?
I get it, but I think you're looking too far into it and kind of with blinders on at the same time because, okay, once again, we're running into Orange Man bad.
No, that's not
just
what
because this situation is going on,
I would have
obviously something nefarious has to be happening.
I would have said that for any president, Dale.
That's not necessarily the case.
If that president was offered a $400 million
it's Qatar.
Thing.
It's Qatar. What the hell is he going to do for Qatar
buy their oil?
is such a big deal?
Buy their oil, give them money, give them more money, give them more money.
What, buy their oil? Well, we're buying everybody else's. We buy oil from fucking Russia. So why not buy oil from Qatar instead of Russia? Doesn't it make sense? Give the money to Qatar and not Russia. Who, Russia is bad. I mean, that's the communists. And that's the people we're allegedly against. So why not buy their oil instead of buying Russian oil? What? Is that a big deal? Or you think that's a kickback?
It could be. You never
know. Every president gets gifts. The thing that
worries me about this is somewhere down the road they could use that as kind of a wedge to take and make this president do whatever they want him to.
No, really?
That's wrong.
Really? Has there ever been anybody that you've seen in politics that have been able to make him do what they wanted? Donald Trump is his own man, and he's going to do what he's going to do, irregardless. He'll take your plane and then go, you know what? Hey, I think we need to put some more tariffs on you, because you're not paying your bill, so we're going to put tariffs on you. But thanks for the airplane. I mean, that is Donald Trump. I don't get where you're coming from.
The other two unsubstantiated rumors that I heard was one that the plane was actually something that they bought from Boeing and they couldn't sell it anywhere else, so they gave it to him. That was one unsubstantiated rumor. I don't know where that came from. I just know that I read it.
That's probably internet horseshit.
Because
if there's one of them, I got to imagine that there's more of them.
Then there's the other one that most of the liberals, I guess you could call it, are making fun of. That said, yeah, sure, we'll take that plane from you, but we're going to know all the government secrets because we're going to have that thing so bugged they're never going to be able to find the end of them. You
don't think that thing ain't going to be swept like nobody's business?
Oh, I would hope so.
I mean, if there is something in there, now here's your catch. It's going to be checked, obviously. And if something is found there, One, we got a new plane, and now two, you got Donald Trump pissed off at Qatar because they tried to pull some wool over his fucking eyes. You see how that works? Do you think he's just gonna? Oh, it was okay. You tried to spy on me. It's okay. I mean, do you really think Donald Trump would do that?
I don't think they got enough money.
Hell no.
He goes where the
And
money's at.
even at that, let's get down to the brass tacks. Okay, that plane was $400 million, and you all liberal, you libtards, as we like to call it, because I think you realize here I hope you understand you're calling out the asshole. Is $400 million for a plane. Now, Barack Obama gave $1.2 billion to the freaking Iranians. Do you know how much the first payment was?
Well, don't you think?
Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess at what the first payment to the Iranians was. $400 million.
And
okay, so you want to do this?
Don't you?
Okay, let's weigh the shit. Okay, free plane from Qatar, or give money to the Iranians. Is one better than the other?
I'll tell you. The one thing that happened, I still kind of puzzles me. Back a couple of months ago was when that all that BS was going on with that signal, where they were using unsecured lines and all that. They bombed the living hell out of those people, and you never heard one word from them. Nothing. I hate you, American. I do. I don't know if they blew everybody that was in that place up that could complain about it or what. I still wonder what the hell, if there was no repercussion over it. Hell,
who are you referring to?
Remember how when that what's his name was invited that head of what is it, Associated Press, to join their chat group, and it was over an unsecured lines, and the guy should have.
Okay, yes, I understand. Okay,
that was because when they did that
had nothing to do with Qatar.
I still wonder. It makes me wonder why didn't those people complain about it? Did they know they had it coming? Evidently they did. If you think about that, if the U.S. was to go bomb Iran would cry up a living storm over it. Same way with the Arabs, same way with, just think if they lobbed a couple of missiles into Gaza. You'd hear so much whining, cussing, and complaining. Oh, well, it's jihad, and all that crap. They took and bombed the living crap out of those people. It was like a couple-hour bomb raid, and you never heard a word about it. I wonder how. Was it that the press just wasn't listening for that? Was it, I just find it fascinating that they didn't come up with anything. And nobody.
I'm finding it fascinating that I don't understand how that has to do with an airplane from Qatar.
I'm not saying it did.
And how you're looping that into the story.
That was kind of a separate thought, I guess you could
say. Okay, all right, understandable.
Don't you find that fascinating that the people with money are the ones that complain and bitch and cry to the press and everything like that? And these little idiots that are running around saying, I hate America. And they got the living crap bombed out of them because they were trying to interfere with that Mideast war and that. I thought I just found it rather interesting. It was like payback. But the other thing
I got nothing on that because I don't even know where you were going with that.
did you,
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not familiar with the topic you were moving into. But we had the whole thing with I just told you about the 400 million going to Iran, and then it turned into 1.2 billion going to Iran, and we're worried about a $400 million plane. When it comes down to where in the hell do you think the Statue of Liberty came from?
France?
Do you think we built that?
No.
Oh, so that was a gift. The Statue of Liberty was a gift,
apples
right?
and oranges here, Dale.
Hey, no, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
The Statue of Liberty was a gift, oranges. Right? Right? Does that mean that we were, in collusion with France, and we were going to give them kickbacks because they gave us the Statue of Liberty?
You might as well, you might as well go back and
it's the
start
same
living in Hitler's
fucking
time.
process. 100 years later, I mean, it's the same thing. But politically, the way the people look at things today, they are turning it into more than it is. Now, maybe it's, excuse me, maybe it's because politicians are more assholes than they were back then. But that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, the whole world has changed over the 100 or so
right,
years.
but I mean, it's the same concept. I mean, how much do you think the Statue of Liberty would have cost? And all of a sudden, that gift is okay, but a gift from Qatar is not okay. And then all the gifts that the other presidents have received over the years, they're all okay too, but this particular one is a problem. That's where I'm not. When you say comparing apples to oranges, this is where I'm saying we're not comparing apples to apples. A whole lot of presidents have gotten gifts. A whole lot of presidents have gotten stuff. The country has gotten things from other countries that we work with, and like I said, my prime example, the Statue of fucking Liberty. We didn't build that damn thing. It was given to us by another country. And that's okay because, I don't know, well, it seems to be the country that fucking hates us. And go up to Canada and go into a French-speaking area and find out how well the French like us. But we got the Statue of Liberty. Once again, that's A-OK. Airplane, Orange Man bad. So
the Statue of Liberty at the time
what do you got?
The Statue of Liberty at the time it was built cost approximately $250,000 to build, and was
at the time it was built,
and was paid for by the French people through public fundraising efforts. In other words, it wasn't given to us from one government to the other. The French people gave that to us. I didn't know that part.
Oh my God!
This amount.
Now you're hacking hairs.
This amount.
I mean, you're splitting hairs here.
This amount in 1880 dollars is roughly equivalent to over $5 million in today's money. Interesting. I never really knew that. So it costs $200.
Hey, you're splitting hairs.
$250, which is not. It's $250,000 is only $250,000. Anyway, let's.
Didn't you just say 5 million?
Yeah, it was 5 million.
I could have sworn that's what you said.
In
Not
today's money,
250,000.
In today's money, it would have been that.
Okay, so let's let's look at things. I mean, and then you're going, today's time. Okay, an airplane. It doesn't cost $27 to build an airplane, so it's a $400 million airplane. Okay, that's what it's worth. Okay, big fucking deal. Okay, but these people decided to gift the president of the United States with this vehicle that he could use as Air Force One. Air Force One has been running around for how many years? It's probably getting a little outdated. It's probably time to upgrade it anyways. So now you got a new plane that you can upgrade with all this stuff. And,
Didn't one of the Bushes take,
I don't get your protest.
Didn't one of the Bushes take and rebuild that plane? I'm gonna have to look that up too. I thought
that might have been
when the last time Air Force One was rebuilt.
That might have been Clinton.
I'm thinking it might have been too. Let me look.
I don't know why that's popping out in my head, but I remember what you're saying about it being revamped and stuff like that.
Okay, let's see here. Air Force One, the Lockheed Constellation, was rebuilt and restored to its original condition between 2015 and 16. I knew that was fairly close there, and they're wanting to rebuild that thing again. I don't know why that seems like an awful lot of money. To rebuild Air Force One.
So why rebuild it again when you got a new plane that you can just outfit with the materials that Air Force One carries?
I would rather see it I would rather see a new aircraft myself. But they're not saying how old that other one is anyway. Like I said, it was supposed to have been sitting around for a while. Who knows? I do want to take and get into one quick topic here, and then we'll move on to the other thing that we got the request for. I don't know if you heard it or not, but I guess Joe Biden has got cancer.
Yes, I did hear that.
I think it's pancreatic cancer.
I'm trying to remember now.
It's either they said that there's two ways that the form that he's got could be going through him. One is through the bone marrow, and the other one is through the blood. From what I understand from what I've read on this subject, he's going to have to go through some hormone therapy, which is a new treatment, more or less, as compared to what it used to be years ago. The hormone therapies, they say that the cancer will be affected by it a lot more and is better controlled by going through with that therapy. I don't like to hear I don't even like to hear the word cancer anymore, just because of what I've dealt with. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Absolutely not.
even Orange Man. But it's that's kind of just really a shame. Yeah,
But you know, I mean, as a ex-president, especially that close, he's got the best doctors working with him.
no doubt.
So I mean, hopefully, a decent outcome. But that does further show that most of us that knew there was something wrong with that man long before anybody would admit to it. And now you see these other problems coming up. It kind of sheds light on the fact that,
I think
information was being buried.
I think the real signs of it were, if you think back to that debate, and when you get sick like that, your mind doesn't work quickly.
Absolutely.
I attest to that completely. And when I was sick, I couldn't. There a lot of the stress and everything that I was under, I couldn't. I just had to walk away from it. I couldn't deal with it. And at that time, I kind of wondered if he might have been sick. They kept saying, "Oh, he's had a cold. He just got off the plane from wherever." I kind of wondered if he was, if something was.
But like I said, but they continue to hide it, and act like everything was okay.
And that's
when it wasn't.
They've done that.
His cognitive ability was not there.
They've done
just like you said, your cognitive ability worsened when you were ill. So whether it had been that or other reasons, it was obvious that these things were going on, that people kept scrubbing under the carpet. And then now that he's not president, all of a sudden, well, it's okay to throw his dirty laundry out in the air. But all it does is further show that the things that we said that we were being told we were a-holes for saying was actually true.
Yeah, I guess.
And, I mean, and God bless him. I hope the best for him. I mean, hey, I didn't agree with him. I didn't agree with his policies. I didn't agree with anything else. But unlike you, I will do something you won't do. That was my president. Joe Biden was my president because he was president in the United States, and I hope the best for him. So I don't play that not my president game like you played for God knows how many years.
Still that way.
That was my president. He was elected. I don't want to necessarily say fairly, but he was elected and he was president. That was my president. And there was nothing I could do about it. I could sit, whine, cry, and complain all I wanted because he was the president. But you know what? 30 seconds later, he's still the president, and he's my president of my country. So, what good does it do you?
It don't. And
so, I want to hear you say, Donald Trump is my president.
Donald Trump is not my president.
I just...
You will never hear that from me.
I just unloaded my heart to you.
Well,
and you can't man up and admit
I'm a
that
71-year-old
Donald Trump
man.
is the president of the United States, and you being a citizen of the United States, that is your president.
Nope.
Come on, just say it with me. Donnie is my president.
I'm a 71-year-old man, and I can make up my own mind.
I don't give a shit how old you are.
And as far
Come
as
on, say it with me.
No,
Donnie is my president.
Donnie is your president.
Donnie is my president.
Donnie is your president.
You're not playing fair. You're not playing fair.
I'm allowed to have my own opinion. You are too. You like the man, I don't. I think he should.
Well, I didn't like Biden either, but he was my president.
Well,
that's what I just explained to you.
He was my.
I don't like him. I don't agree with his beliefs. I don't agree with nothing. But as a citizen of the United States, he was allegedly duly elected into office. He was my president. Whether I liked it or not, he was my president. Well, so just say Donnie was duly elected as president again of the United States. He was elected. So just say Donnie is my president.
He was elected as your president and as your
president. Do it for the people. Do it for the people.
Never hear that.
Do it for the people.
Nope.
You jackass. Won't even do it.
That's why they call this show The Art of Argument.
I gave you all the arguments in the world, and I flooded out my soul to you.
Dale.
And you give me this more shit.
You know what that is? You know what that is?
It looks like you trying to make a little sphincter in your hand.
That's the world's tiniest violin playing My Heart Bleeds for You.
Well, it's not a sad story. It's the story. I mean, Biden was president. I lost a lot of money. And then, now I'm starting to kind of get it back. But, whatever.
I'll bet you.
But the fact remains, I gave you all the facts in the world. And I even myself have taken the time to say Joe Biden was my president. As much as it kills me to say that, I said it.
Yeah, you're never gonna hear it from me.
And your old punk ass can't say Donnie is my president.
I will say something I don't believe in.
What do you mean believe in? You don't have to believe in it. It's facts. That's my point. It is a fact.
It's maybe a fact, but I don't have to.
So what? When you live in a different fucking country?
I live in a different universe.
Oh no! Well, I think many of us have already figured that out. But do you live in the United States of America?
I live in a different dimension. My views and my everything like that are unrestricted. Where you?
Oh, do you live in the United States of America though?
Pretty much, yeah.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yeah.
Donnie is your president.
No, he's not.
Oh, absolutely,
sorry,
he is.
Oh, sorry.
He is.
He's not.
Okay, we're beating a dead dog here.
That's about it.
You're just trying to. You're poking the bear.
I know it.
You're poking the bear.
I know it.
I get it.
You do this sometimes to me, and I have to do it to you back.
You're poking the bear. So.
All right.
It is what it is.
The next topic that I want to get into this thing that Eric posted on Facebook that I thought would have been a pretty good topic to argue about. This one came from a friend of the show, Eric Nannerone, and he's on Facebook last week. He posted something after our show about do animals have souls? And he gave me a little bit of a background here, so I'm going to read it. The topic comes from the point of view of even though Jesus did not die for the souls of animals, but is it possible for animal soul functions in a different way? This is going to be kind of an interesting to see where you stand on this, to be honest.
This topic definitely interests me. I didn't really research it because at the end of the day, I think that it comes down to a matter of opinion. I mean, you can listen to other scholars, preachers, normal people, whatever, and what their opinions are, but that's not necessarily going to shape your own opinion.
Yeah. I think going back to when my mom was still alive, she was a she was an animal lover to the max. She loved Shih Tzu dogs and Lhasa Apsos, and she used to when we'd have to put one of the dogs down, there was talk about the Rainbow Bridge and all that kind of stuff. And she told me, she says, when I die, I'm going to go see all my dogs. Which, in that, judging from that, that's pretty much where I picked up a lot of my feelings towards that. You know, if there is such a thing as a rainbow bridge, then um, then I think there's a possibility of it. Uh, it kind of it's that old coincidence thing. You know, there is no such thing as a coincidence. When you're a human, you're talking about heaven, you're talking about getting there, you're talking about the baptism, which is doing away with the original sin, and that kind of stuff. On the other side of that coin, you've got the animals that have expired or whatever, and the first thing you hear is a rainbow bridge thing, and all. We're gonna go see the dogs when I get up there. Okay, that being said, um, I know that in the Catholic or in the Christian faith, you have had saints that were animal lovers, and they were, I can't remember the name of that saint. I meant to look that up before we talked about this, but there was a saint that if he was he was a saint for all the animals, you know, and he was supposed to be the protector of animals. If you go by that, then you pretty much answered your own question. There probably is. But on the other side of that coin, the one point that was made in one Facebook thing that I was reading uh, on Eric's thread said that it was from um, it was from another Christian, I guess. And we've had that guy on our show before, um, and he said that because or Christ died for uh, to save the world or save humans from their sins, or and he said that it wasn't the animals weren't included. I don't know. I kind of disagree with that because of the fact that you can tell if this was a dumb animal. Say you had I don't know, a turtle or an insect or something like that. Do those things have souls? House house plants. Does that have a soul? It can listen to you, and it grows. It'll grow with a little care and giving and talking to them. That's been proved. But it kind of, to me, there almost has to be something along that lines. I don't know if it's for insects or whatever, but I know like dogs, cats, and some of the other stuff that are that live with humans. Uh, I would think that there would be something like that. What do you think about that?
Well, my thought would be, well, one, okay, the Bible says that uh, man has dominion over the animals. Okay, um, so okay, man has dominion over the animals, and man kills animals to eat and do things like that. But does it ever say that an animal doesn't have a soul? Now, when you get into uh, saying that Christ died for the sins of man, um, can you think of an animal that sinned?
Well, that
Now
depends.
we kill animals to eat.
That depends.
Animals kill animals to eat. Um, I mean, they live their lives in a cycle that this animal feeds off that animal, that feeds off that animal, that feeds off this animal, the blah 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 blah. So, I mean, could an animal really be a sinner? So, would you need to forgive the sins of animals? Because to me, they're sinless. They're doing what their DNA tells them to do. Now, okay, you have pets. Um, Obviously, these pets have personalities. A lot of times, they understand what you're saying to them. Um, they interact. They do, many different things. And then you even have people that have, we're talking about cats and dogs and whatever else. But then there are these people that have relationships with tigers, bears, lions, elephants, all kinds of different kinds of animals, who these animals relate to them and interact with them. So to tell me that an animal does not have a soul, I have to disagree. I believe that they do. I mean, I guess I can't speak for the flying insects and this and that and all those other things. I can only speak for the animals that we interact with as people. But if those animals have souls, then I have to assume that the other animals have souls too.
Hang on a second. Take care of that. I think in one aspect of this, you have to go back to uh, the Bible teaching, and that as far as to the reason there's baptism, it was supposed to be that people, when they come in, or I don't know if it's just people or if it's anything that comes into this world comes in through original sin. Yeah, that's going to be the key point as to what we're talking about here. If you say an original sin, supposedly everything comes into this world that way. You get baptized, and supposedly that takes care of the original sin, because you're now supposed to be a believer in the Trinity, or whatever your religious faiths are. If you don't want to, if you there isn't original sin there, then I think it takes a part of the argument away um, from the fact that, hang on a second.
saying that I said I was going to make $3 million some dollars? I don't think so.
Oh, Jesus. Flora got something from Social Security that says she makes $3.5 million a year.
Well, shit, why ain't you sharing?
I think that's a little bit off.
Damn. Damn.
Anyway, getting back to the subject here.
Send some of that my way.
Getting back to the subject, I misinterpreted what I read there earlier. Eric said that wasn't Nick that was saying that about the Christ dying for our sins. It was I guess it was his father. Irregardless, if there was no original sin, then that kind of takes away half of the argument for the actual animal having soul. Another thought just came to my mind, though. I've read way back in the past where they've done experiments on different animals and even people, trying to see how the if the soul had any weight. You may not have heard any of this, but supposedly they weighed a bunch of stuff, including humans, and the human soul comes out to about 3/4 of an ounce at death. They said that the accuracy of when somebody finally just expires, the soul leaves and it weighs about 3/4 of an ounce. 3/4 of an ounce. The only thing that they did not find that for, I think, was either dogs or cats. I think it was dogs. But knowing the animals that I've got here, these dogs have got soul. You know, there's no one's just as mean and ornery as the other ones, and they understand each other a lot more sometimes than I understand them. But that being said, as far as the weight, if the weight is true, then souls do exist, and that gives argument for animals or anything like that having it. Got anything to add there, or?
I don't have anything to add, but
Do you question any of it?
so they're saying that a human being, when they pass, their weight will change due to the soul leaving the body.
Right.
But yet, with an animal, the weight does not change with the soul leaving the body.
The weight of
allegedly.
The only of dogs, the weight doesn't change, and it seems
so dogs are just like.
That could be at the end of the line.
They're some of the most intelligent out there.
If you take and
I have to cry foul. I have to believe that the animals that I've had. Now, the question kind of comes down to, is there an animal heaven and a human heaven? Could be a possibility, but I would assume that if heaven is the glorious place that it is supposed to be, then all your animals that you grew to love and really cherish through your life would be there with you, along with your family and those that had made it to heaven and whatnot. So no, I have to believe they have souls.
Let's take this in a little bit different direction, shall we?
Go for it.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of funny. Because we have I'm a guy that truly believes in, let's say, ghosts. So that would be like spirits that visit people, whether they be good or evil. Um, could that in fact be a form of reincarnation? I don't know.
I have two.
But
I have two thoughts on that. One is it could be a reincarnation. It's also in the Catholic beliefs, anyway. You have you have the space between heaven and hell could be what we call purgatory, and that's where the ghosts could exist until they're not nothing else they can do on the earth.
right, but you're the only Catholicism is the only religion on the planet that I know of that created this thing called purgatory. So, I mean, I'm not really, kind of with that either. You don't hear purgatory referred to in any other religions other than Catholicism, which was way back when, um, basically a way to make money. Uh, so,
Well,
I'm not with that.
I myself
I don't agree.
through personal experience, I believe that when you're married, the two souls do join together. There was, if you ever go through losing a spouse like that, which hopefully you never will, the there is a point where the souls separate, and mine was with at the funeral, and it with my deceased wife. The I felt up until that point that we were together, and then once that funeral mass was over, I felt a whole lot different. I felt like an emptiness was there, and that kind of led me to believe that there might be something like that as far as purgatory. But I'm not. There's no scientific basis for what I'm saying. I'm just saying the way that I felt. Could on this other hand, the other side of this coin could be, could we take and could there be a limitation to the amount of souls that are out there? Could it be that there a human soul next time could be reincarnated into a dog or a cat or something like that? And if so, it could be that why they couldn't find the soul leaving from whatever animal that it was. That could have been the last chance. God only knows how many times you could be reincarnated if that happens. But on the other side of that, if that is the truth, maybe there is an animal where the soul just dies and that's the end of it. Did you ever think about that?
No. I've never had a reason to think about that. Um, the whole reincarnation, I've heard views about it and whatnot, and then you get like you get into movies, and then you have like A Dog's Life, where the dog starts out and the dog dies, and it comes as a new dog, and da 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 da. And at the end of the movie, the final animal makes its way back to the owner,
Yeah.
and still knows the tricks that it knew when it was the original dog that it started off with. Beautiful movie. I loved it. I think I probably shed a couple tears during that SOB. So, hey, I'm a human being. Um, I like to believe that, you know, if I make my way to heaven someday, that, I'm going to see all my puppy dogs and my kitty cats when I get there. I mean, I just, but seeing the dogs are not just, especially when you tell me that they said, okay, yeah, no, cats and all these other animals are cool. Fuck the dogs. I see the personalities in my animals, and I am a dog man. Okay. I am one that I will faithfully tell everybody that no man is complete without his dog.
Yep.
Okay. And it's, you watch these animals grow. You see the personalities develop. You see them understanding what you're saying, what you're doing. They understand. I mean, just like a dog, when you're upset, and you're really having a bad day, is there not one of those dogs in that house that won't crawl up into your lap just to console you?
Um, I've
I
had
mean,
that
so
with every dog I've ever owned.
you can't tell me that, you can see that obvious consciousness there. You can't tell me that they don't have a soul.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that's the way I look at it. I want Justine when she's sick, because I tease her. I call her the sickest, healthiest woman that I've ever met, because she is healthy as a horse, does everything right, but she'll catch the cold, catch the pneumonia, catch something else. I mean, and when she's down, the dogs don't necessarily bother her so much, but they are attached to her hip. Just, Mama, I'm here. I'm here. You know, so I can't not believe that these animals don't have souls. And maybe there's certain ones that do and certain ones that don't. I don't know. But you can't tell me a dog don't have a soul. And you can't tell me I can look at my cat and the cat is like getting all up in my business. And I just look over and say, go to your spot, get in your spot. And that's what he does.
Yeah.
He'll because he likes to get on top of my clothes when I'm trying to get dressed in the morning. And I say, go to your spot. And that is like just away from my clothes. And he'll lay there on the blankets right beside me.
Yeah.
And he's cool. So I have to feel that, yes, they have souls.
I believe that too. I do believe that. I guess when the Almighty takes us both, we'll find out. But I guess until then, it'll be a mystery. Anyway, let's. We're looking
Absolutely.
at 59 here, so let's go ahead and start wrapping it up here. Any other comments about anything you want to say before we close
No,
it up for a couple of
I
weeks?
mean, a couple topics we got into, I think we
I think this was
went through them enough.
good, and this was a good show. I thought this was one of
Yeah, I had a feeling I was going to get angrier, but I thought you was going to get you was going to hit that side of me with that airplane stuff, but I managed to
come on, man.
keep my
Give me a
composure.
little credit. I wouldn't
So
I wouldn't try to do it. I'd do it without trying.
uh,
Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up for for this week. Thanks everybody that tuned in to listen to us tonight.
Stay on after the show's over. I got a quick question for you.
Not a problem. We will see everybody in 2 weeks. Coming up next, about the only thing this weekend is going to be the Sunday show, which is radioactive. The Four Guys on Sports is on hiatus, and this show will be back in 2 weeks, so that we can get through the Memorial Weekend holiday and all that. So, thanks everybody for tuning in with us tonight, and hopefully you will you walked away a little more educated or dumbfounded, one of the two. So, say goodnight, Dale.
Good night.
7-3, y'all. Bye.